productivity and enhance marketing using AI tools. As the AI ethics lead at Socially Acceptable, they focus on building responsible digital citizenship and have extensively educated the public on AI ethics and digital democracy. Nazreen is also a seasoned moderator, keynote speaker, and panelist, having participated in prestigious events like the African Union Media Fellowship Program, AI Expo Africa, Digitize Africa, Global AI Summit, and the World Cybersecurity Summit. You can hear Nazreen every Tuesday morning on Cape Talk with Lester Kiewit and Tuesday evening on Hilal TV, DSTV, channel 347. Assalamu alaikum, Sister Nazreen, and welcome to our Spotlight on Urban Women.
Walaikum salam, Razia. It's a pleasure to be with you. Thank you for the opportunity. Hope you guys are doing great in the studio.
We are absolutely. And where are we connecting with you? Where about in South Africa are you?
I'm in Durban, which is nice to be home for an extended period after all the travel that I have been doing earlier in the year. It's great to be able to just sit at home base and get deep into the work and work with the team that's here. So it's pretty cool.
Alhamdulillah, always nice to get back and somehow energize and just feel that sense of familiarity makes a difference. Now, alhamdulillah, 20 years, that's quite remarkable, I must say. And I think consistency is key. And of course, everything comes with its challenges. And we'd love to know how you have grown. Hence, you're on our spotlight today because we, as urban women, there's that saying, success leaves clues. I'll say it in all our spotlight segments because we don't need to reinvent the wheel. So if you listen to Tony Robbins, right, you'll know he says that. So can you describe your journey for us in media, in technology and communications over the past 20 years?
Yeah, Jazakallah again, Razia, for the opportunity. And Tobeka, who produces the show, has been excellent with following up with me and just making sure that this comes together. So I appreciate the team there.
Even getting you on. She's my tech now. So alhamdulillah, she's really escalating here.
No, brilliant. StreamYard is a great platform, by the way. 20 years. I also was surprised a few days ago to realize that it's now been 20 years in the industry since I graduated and started on the work journey, as it were. But very quickly realized that I was more suited to either freelancing, consulting, or working for myself rather than being an employee. And I suppose everyone has that realization at some point. It depends on your nature or your personality. But media and comms is a personal interest. It's the strength I have. And throughout school, doing leadership activities and taking part in debates, speeches, doing activities at school, you sort of start to show what strengths you have, and it's good to always run with it. But I suppose having done a media and comms degree at Howard College, what was back then Howard College.
I've been there as well.
Exactly. So you know the vibe. It was very cool at the time.
It was.
I had a Nokia 3310 as my phone, so you can imagine how far back we are going.
Alhamdulillah.
Ago. But coming out, 2005 into the job market, I was very. I always make a lot of dua and give thanks for the fact that I got a job as soon as I got out of university, which is not always the case with graduates. It was at a media monitoring company. So it was a very good training ground for understanding how media is shaped, developed, news, how it's put out, the frequency of it, what it looks like on TV versus print, on radio versus print. And so it was an excellent training ground for a new graduate to come out from university. But I'm too curious and too quick-paced for my own good. So I couldn't last very long, more than the 2 years, nearly 3 years that I was in that particular job. And it was pretty cool. Please mind, I've got my team with me at the office, and we're sharing an office. We don't often work together. So
that's fine. We can see
don't mind if you share the team behind us.
Evidence that you're working. It's okay.
Evidence that we hard at work. Please jump on the stream. We hard at work. But it kind of developed from there, and being a person who works 2 to 3 jobs. And just give me a second. Just give me 1 second, Razia, while I just let the team know I'm on a.
So we can see that Sister Nazreen is busy. And I mean, you know what? She's in a field that I think is really booming at the moment. And we can take some real cues from her right now. So she's just giving her
Thanks for
teams
that.
the heads. Only a pleasure.
Thank you
Welcome
for
back.
that. No, we're working on a new project, so I understand they're in and out of the office trying to get some of the key players you've been looking for together, and they're really brilliant being
Alhamdulillah.
able to do that.
We can
And
see from.
thanks again for allowing me to tell my story in this space, because I think as women, as Muslim women, and as women who come from varying backgrounds, whether you have uh, I'm going to say you think you have the backing or not. Meaning, you may think you need to have money or capital or connections to kick off or to begin, but not necessarily. And many of us are proof of that. I know certainly I am. But it's your intention and how you choose to work, what you do, and having a very solid family support structure, which I do in my parents and my siblings. Really, I don't
Alhamdulillah.
be without them. My
Alhamdulillah.
parents are my two board members, the, the non-executive board members who I get direction and duas from. So that's, and my
I love.
siblings are my cheerleaders. I'm the eldest of four, so they're very cool. It's wonderful. We have a close relationship with the two brothers and my sister. They also work in tech and education, which makes it fun. We get to talk to one another. My
Oh,
brothers
you speak
are
the same language, yeah.
mad about cars, so am I. So we can hang out on that one. My sister and I are constantly doing the dialogues of various movies that are our favorites. So we're like a Mad Hatter kind of family. But in
Fantastic.
just understanding, where we are as Muslims and how we want to contribute to society. I think that's the one thing that was very apparent also in our family, was not only growing in our successful career journeys, but also I think what our parents did really well was foster an environment that made us understand very quickly that we do have a role to play in community, which we do at various different levels. And I think that, Razia, is really important to
Hmm.
understand background, because also as Muslims, we are encouraged to be able to participate and impact other people positively. So the work that we are doing as media and comms, as a technology business, also has an element where we have to be very mindful and aware what kind of business we take on. We say
Hmm.
no to business that doesn't align, obviously, with the Islamic ethos, whether it's
Subhanallah.
a gambling business that does gambling. Um, it can be gaming that is centered around gambling. We can't work with that kind of business or that kind of technology.
Alhamdulillah.
Any alcohol
And
related brands or brands, and you know exactly what I'm talking about, the sin brands, as they call it. Uh,
mm.
these are things
The
that are
sunbrand.
important to
I
remember.
like that.
Yeah.
And of course, you know what? You are not focusing then, this just highlights on the temporary reward or growth that your business can have. But of course, as you're saying, as a Muslim, I always say our focus is the bigger picture. And that's where your
Yes.
barakah and your growth is coming through, because you are staying in alignment with how Muslims should be. And of course, ultimately, that's where true success comes in. You know, we do have questions set up for you, but I just want to say you are an urban woman. You're a dynamic woman from what I'm seeing. And Alhamdulillah, you have come a
Thank you.
long way. And you know, nothing, I believe, nothing happens by coincidence. It's because you are meant to, because Allah Azza wa Jal has given you the ability. Now, there's many women out there that probably are stuck going through some challenging life situations, wish that they were independent, because let's face it, whether we like it or not, things are tough. Divorces are
Yeah.
becoming common. Women are feeling that I don't have the support like other people do. I have kids. What do I do? Where do I go? What advice do you have for them? How can they go about building themselves should they wish to? What encouragement or tips do you have to share with them?
That's a great question, Razia. Listen, I can answer only from the perspective of a woman who, at 41, is still single, the eldest of four kids. So we kind of like, you already uh, rewriting the typical narrative that would occur in our communities typically. But I am
Uh-huh.
not alone in that regard. There are many women who are accomplished, successful Muslim women in my age group or older or younger, and have overcome the pressures of being married, which seems to be the marker of success in our communities, uh, unfortunately, to some degree. Now, we are not saying at all I must make this statement that we are not saying at all that we, as accomplished women who are not in that space, do not give importance to the fact that marriage has its own barakah, and it will come. It is. I have come to realize and accept and made peace with the fact that it is about timing. It's also very much about compatibility, and
100%.
the equality of responsibility that's now allocated in this day and age to both
Yes.
partners. So I can
Yes.
speak from that perspective. In no way do I offer any kind of how do I say, prescribed advice to women who have kids who may be undergoing any kind of marital challenge or a challenge in their marriage, because relationships by and large are the work of one, two, or more people, or many people, to make sure that it's a day by day. You're not going to be happy with people you love all the time, or sad with them all the time. It's a day by day approach. So
Mhm.
again, I'll say to you, asked me about that, and I can only give it from a certain perspective. But the perspective is that the first thing to remember is Muslim women have in history always been warriors, whether in knowledge, in business, in just daily life. We have always been known as warriors in our own right. To dress modestly, to speak your mind, and to have a real passion for life does not preclude us from being good Muslim women. This is something that our community needs to understand. I'm a skateboarder, Razia, so I love skateboarding, right? It's not
Wonderful.
typical, but
No, typical.
the point is that as Muslim women, we have role models in Hazrat Khadija radiallahu anh, Hazrat
Subhanallah.
Aisha radiallahu anh, everyone that comes from the Ahlul Bayt, the family of the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The women have shown us through those ages how powerful they were in their approach. I cannot
Mm.
understand why we have a society that dumbs down that approach to women right now to say you cannot speak freely, and if you do speak freely, then we've got to kind of be passive aggressive towards you to lower your voice, to lower your shine, to not step up. Yet there are men in our community who work to the goals and the ideals that the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was, who he was as a figure, as a person, as a personality. There are Western scholars who have written around him of what a statesman he was. They have gone deep into the hadith and his personality to understand that he was one of the greatest men that has ever lived. Yet we know he is of divine origin, right? We are
Absolutely.
merely clay. But if I look at that example and if we were to follow that, then I would say to women, no matter where you are coming from and what you want to do with your life, is to believe in your own strength and power as Muslim women that we have already have, as examples that come from the
Absolutely.
time of the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And
No.
I really am grateful to my parents, and my mother reinforces in the minds of myself, my sister, and my sisters-in-law. My sister Raisa Ibrahim, she's a coordinator at the I Teach Lab at Mancosa.
Uh-huh.
My sisters-in-law Lutfia and Nazreen, and always talks to my brothers about keeping their wives happy and being good men to them. And being good men is half of the battle won if we have the capability of men to be good and kind
Yes.
and generous and open and understanding, alongside women who are good, kind, generous, open, and understanding. These are, I think, maybe perhaps along the way the community has kind of lost that narrative.
We have, absolutely. I always say, how women should be, but then if women are going to be like that, it's like almost the men have an expectation of women. Both need to change, both need to see, yeah, is the ideals of how Muslims should be. And if we can, step into that kind of zone, frequency, vibration, caliber, character,
That's it.
inshallah, everything will come right. So for those that actually want to become empowered and start a business, what would you say? How should they start? Like, just if they lost, it's like, I don't know what to do, but I want to become empowered. I want to do something for myself. What advice do you have for them?
Hey, we are very lucky to a great degree to live in the age of the internet and
Yeah.
mobile phones. So that's half the battle won. Is you don't have to think about how can I get myself heard, how can I start building a brand profile, how can I put out a piece of content. I mean, who even knew back when I was 16? We had a computer at home playing Prince of Persia or Need for Speed. back then, or going onto Encarta Encyclopedia. That was like, I was just talking to my parents and my siblings about it the other day. We were reliving some of the good memories.
Absolutely.
But this day and age, you've got all the platforms. It's also about how you see yourself. So the first step is understanding where your mindset is at, which is really critical. Understanding where the mindset is. Oh, as a woman, and as women from a particular community, which is an ethnic community like ours, you identify yourself in a number of ways, which is usually by the roles you play in other people's lives, not your own. And it's as a wife, as a mother, as a daughter, and especially for the mothers. And I will say this to people: what I have also learned, I think, Razia, as a person who is not kind of like motherly to my nieces and to my nephews and my niece, who I love dearly. I'm not a mother who have had kids. I can truly understand how important it is to see older people and your own parents as people. And so, when you get to that level of trying to establish understanding with yourself as a person, to interrogate who you are as a person, you start understanding other people for who they are. That's, I suppose, what Ubuntu means ultimately, is to see others as you would see yourself. So, and the basis of Islam is around Ubuntu anyway, the centeredness.
Absolutely.
So that would be important, is to first understand yourself. And then secondly is to be practical about the thing. We're a really practical person. So just be practical about the thing. Don't over-engineer it. I have sometimes my team laughs at me because I over-engineer the solutions we want to build. I'm like, okay, step back to basics.
This is to you also, right?
yeah, 100%. Step back to basics. Think about the thing, A, B, and C. Get it done. So it's just got to be that way. Just you got to do what you can with what you have right now. This is how we started our business. We've bootstrapped it along the way. It's and alhamdulillah, it is growing slowly but surely. So we have built a consistent brand. We're working with some really beautiful, solid clients who are known nationally and internationally. And that's just the way. You just got to make the dua, man. You just got to do the things. So read namaz. Just keep the namaz all the time. It is such a centering force. I cannot explain. Namaz, salah, prayer, whatever you're calling it, it is a thing. Just do it. Even if you don't feel the belief at that moment, we all have to motivate ourselves. You do it because there's power in action, and action is positive.
Power in action. Absolutely well said. It's like Maryam alayhi salam, when she was giving birth, Allah Azza wa Jal instructed her, shake the tree, and the dates fell. Shake the tree. Why? Allah Azza wa Jal could have just dropped it, but again, it's take the action. So I like that beautiful reminder, urban woman. We're going to wrap up here. So it's a mindset, as Sister Nazreen just said. Know who you are. First figure that out and know what's your passion. Get that mindset right, and of course, do what you can and do it what you have. Let's make that dua, perform your salah, stay connected to Allah Azza wa Jal. Beautiful chatting with you. Inshallah, I would love to connect with you again. Until then, all the best for your endeavors, and may Allah Azza wa Jal preserve your family, your parents as well. You can see there's so much of muhabba. Until we connect again, Nazreen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I mean, to all your duas, and I make the same for you and your family, to the team in the studio. Thanks to Tobeka for arranging this great session. Tobeka, hey. A good friend of mine, know her for a few years, but it was a pleasure chatting with you. Thank you for the opportunity. Much appreciated.
Same, your pleasure. And that was Sister Nazreen Ebrahim, who's a specialist with 20 years of experience in media, technology, and communications, and sharing with us how you can do it. So coming back to the roots, and very important, is know yourself first, if I just have to say, because if you know who you are, I often like to say that an apple cannot be a banana, but it can be an awesome apple. So know who you are and what you are. Time for a break, and then time to wrap up. I'll be back in a bit. Stay tuned. Urban Woman, sponsored by Vada Gold Gem Jewelers, 534